You know that feeling when you buy a cheap webcam for the sake of a quick fix, only to discover half the participants can't even see you clearly and the audio sounds like you're in a crowded CAF? I've been there, and I've also watched a few colleagues waste an entire morning trying to re-angle a budget lens that just won't stay focused. That hesitation is what made me dig deeper before hitting Add to Cart on a high-end conference camera. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The KanDao Meeting Ultra Standard promises a 360-degree view, 4K HDR quality, and AI-driven tracking, all wrapped in a single plug-and-play box. The first question I asked myself was simple. Does it actually solve the three pain points that keep most small business teams up at night: clarity, consistency, and simplicity? After pulling the device out of the box, setting it up in a modest home office, and testing it across Zoom, Google Meet, and Microsoft Teams, I could start answering that question with real-world data rather than marketing copy. Let's start with the core visual experience. The dual 4K sensors capture a full 360-degree panoramic frame, which means you can place the camera in the middle of a round table setup and trust that every participant stays in view. In practice, the AI 4.0 algorithm does a respectable job of following the speaker's movement, shifting the virtual window to keep them centered without any noticeable lag. When I was presenting a slide deck and then stepped away to grab a coffee, the camera smoothly panned to the next speaker, and the transition felt natural, not the jerky jumps you sometimes see with cheaper autoframing solutions. The autofocus lock held steady even when I moved my laptop around the desk, so I didn't have to constantly refocus, which is a huge time saver for anyone juggling multiple visual elements. Low-light performance is often a deal breaker, especially for teams that work from dimly lit apartments or conference rooms with only a single overhead light. The KanDao's HDR processing adds enough lift to keep faces visible without introducing a harsh digital glow. I tried it with a desk lamp set to a warm 2700K and with the room lights off entirely, relying on the laptop screen as the only light source. The result was a reasonably clean image where skin tone stayed natural and the background didn't turn into a black blob. It isn't a professional cinema camera, but for the typical 2-meter distance in a home office, the picture quality is more than adequate. Audio is where many video conference cameras stumble, but the 8 built-in microphones and a 10-watt hi-fi speaker change the conversation. The mic array picks up voices from all directions and, thanks to built-in noise canceling, it suppresses the clatter of a printer or a dog barking in the background. During a group brainstorming session, the audio remained clear even when 2 people talked simultaneously. The speaker voice came through distinctly, and the distant comments didn't drown out the main presenter. The speaker itself is powerful enough that remote participants can hear you without turning their volume up, which is a nice touch for larger meetings where you don't want everyone shouting into their headsets. Ease of use is perhaps the most compelling part of the KanDao Ultra. There are no drivers to install. You connect the USB-C cable, and the camera appears as a standard webcam on any platform. The companion software offers a handful of self-developed conference modes, a speaker focus mode, a wide view mode for boardrooms, and a hybrid mode that splits the screen between the speaker and the shared content. Switching between these modes is as simple as clicking a button, and the changes happen instantly. I appreciated that the menu doesn't bury essential controls deep under submenus. Everything you need for a typical meeting is on the main screen, which reduces friction for users who aren't tech-savvy. One area where the Ultra feels a little less refined is manual adjustment. While the camera does allow you to tilt, pan, and zoom via the software, the physical housing doesn't have a dedicated joystick for on-the-fly repositioning. If you need to quickly ream the field of view during a live session, you have to dip back into the app, which can be a minor inconvenience. That said, because the AI tracking handles most of the work, I rarely needed to intervene, but it's something to keep in mind if you prefer hardware knobs for instant tweaks. Battery confidence isn't a concern here because the unit is powered directly through the USB connection, which means you never have to worry about the camera dying mid-meeting. However, you do need a reliable power source for the host computer. In my experience, a modest laptop charger was sufficient even with the camera drawing its full 4K feed. If you're planning to use the device in a truly mobile setting, say, a coffee shop without power, you'll need an external power bank that can support the camera's consumption. but that's an edge case for most office environments. Now, who should actually consider buying this camera? If you're a small to mid-sized business that runs weekly video conference calls,